All right, great. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Good morning again, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our first webinar out of total of four webinars for the Digital Bootcamp. This program is presented to you by the California SPDC and the GoBiz office, the Get Digital California Initiative. All right, so a quick introduction about myself. My name is Manar Risha. I am the director of the CSUF North SPDC. And as Mike mentioned, my background is marketing, digital e-commerce, and I'm excited to be here to answer your questions. And I'm going to turn it over to Chris to introduce himself.
Hey everybody, it's great to be here with you this morning. My name is Chris Ponzillo. I'm a consultant with the SBDC. My background is in marketing and getting you online, everything from selling services to selling products, subscriptions, etc. We're going to talk to you about a lot of different things as we go through these next few weeks, and I'm excited to walk you through these pieces that we're going to do.
Thank you so much, Chris. And for the rest of the series, we also have a couple of experts who will be joining us. So if you haven't already, make sure you mark your calendars because we're going to be together for a total of 4 weeks, including today, to basically cover the landscape of what it takes to have a strong website and establish and drive traffic to that website, and also other resources that you may want to consider for your digital and online presence. So just to give you a quick summary of what you're going to learn through this program, really the purpose of what we're doing today and over the next 4 weeks is to help you as a business owner expand your presence and increase your sales by having an effective e-commerce presence. We're going to meet for a total of 4 times, including today, every Tuesday at 10 a.m. And every webinar is going to be a combination of showing you and discussing the different concepts of the online and the digital presence, but also we're going to help you put it all together by showcasing the different tools, and we're going to go to different platforms to show you how to actually do it. Today, we're going to talk specifically about your website, going from securing your domain name all the way to actually publishing your website. We're going to cover return policy, your merchant account, hosting solutions, your content, because if your content does not speak to your audience, you cannot sell, including photography, text, description, and we're going to talk a little bit about some things you can do on your website to drive traffic. Chris is going to dive into all this. As Mike mentioned, some of the content might be a little bit overbearing. It's okay, bear with us. We're going to do our best to answer your questions and basically tackle every question and every concern you might have. And hopefully the goal is that we'll be able to work with you one-on-one as you need that assistance. Now, next week, we're going to talk about your website is up and running and you have everything on that website. So the reason we want you to come back and meet with us again next week, because we're going to talk about how to drive traffic to that website. We're going to tackle social media marketing. We're going to talk about and show you how to do paid advertising on social media and how to choose the right platform. We're going to discuss Google advertising. We're going to talk YouTube, and how to leverage that platform. And also we're going to talk email marketing and solutions for you to consider to drive traffic to your website. And then on the 24th, which would be our third meeting together, your website is up and running, that's great, but there are other resources that we're going to encourage you to look into so you are able to drive additional traffic to your website and also get more exposure for your brand. So we're going to discuss the Etsy, eBay, Amazon, Walmart Marketplace, Craigslist. We're going to talk social commerce as well, from Facebook selling to Facebook Marketplace, Instagram and TikTok selling as well. We're going to discuss Groupon, Nextdoor, and online directories as well. And wrapping it all up, week 4 is the reason to why we do it all. It's great that we're going to be on different platforms, from your website to social media and different marketplaces. But as we all know, numbers talk. So unless we know what's really making our bank account, heftier and bigger, we're going to basically be spreading ourselves too thin. So we're going to talk key performance indicators. We're going to discuss what's working, what's not working, how to track your outcomes. And of course, we're going to dive into packaging and shipping solutions and give you some of these solutions to address. And then finally, how you can plan for your growth and sustainability. I think you've heard enough from me, and I'm going to turn it over to the reason why we are all here today. Chris, who will take you through the motions of setting up a strong website presence. Chris?
Well, thank you, Manal. Again, great to be here with everybody today. We're going to dive in because we've got a lot of different things to cover with making sure you're all online. I appreciate everybody starting to put their information on their business in the chat window. We can see who you are, where you're coming from. I like the fact that a lot of you already have URLs, that you have domains, that you do have businesses running. So for those of you that do, take a look at this as kind of a course to where you can maybe tweak some things, make some adjustments, because in e-commerce, every little bit of positive dial turning is going to help you, get more profit and more conversion in the long run. For those of you that, do not have a domain already, some of these things are going to be more applicable to you at the beginning, but we're going to pull it all together. Starting with getting you online and making sure that people find you, the first thing we want to talk about is your domain name. If you guys can remember, last year when we all used to go to shopping centers, we would walk down through the mall or down the hallway, and you see the front entrance or front door of a place. You would see nice looking things in the window. You would see a sign, things that would make you want to come in. Well, for us on the online world, our advertisements are that, but the first thing we have that does that for us is our domain name. Our domain name that tells people this is who we are, this is where you find us, and this is how you get back to our store to buy the things that you want to buy or get to us for our services that we need to get. Now, when buying a domain name, you want it to be a few things. One, you want it to be memorable. Yes, you want it to guide customers and clients back to you. And you want to choose it for a reason that is beyond, hey, I bought that because the domain was available. So in thinking about that, that can become a struggle with tens of thousands of new domain names being registered every single day. And be honest, they go over 300 different domain extensions, everything from .ac to .zw. And if any of you have a .zw, I'd really like to figure out why you got that and know what you're doing there, because I find that interesting. Domain names typically range from $10 to $15 per year. If you're going for something premium, sure, you could find a domain for $20,000 or on auction. Domains is even sold as high as $49.7 million a couple of years ago for a carinsurance.com. But when we start to figure out where you're going to be on the web, think about your business, think about your company name. Can you translate that directly over? Does it need to be a derivative of who you are? But again, memorable, people can find it, and we need reasons when we're choosing it. So when we're choosing it, you want it to be easy to type. Choosing a domain name that's easy to type, it's critical to online success. So like if you guys have a domain that uses slang or changes out the X in Express, instead of being EXPRES, you're using Express. You may want to buy both domains so that people aren't misspelling your name and getting to the wrong place. The worst thing you can do is send other people your free traffic. Keep that in mind as you're choosing your domain. The other piece is to, if you can, keep it short. Don't use words that are complex if you can help it. You don't want misspellings. You want people to find it. As we get a little bit into this, and we think about those tens of thousands of domains being bought every day, it's going to get a little hard to find things. So if we're a glass repair company, for example, glassrepair.com is taken, glassreplacement.com is probably taken. So think about using keywords for your business. So if you're like Frank's Glass Repair, you might be Frank's Glass Repair Irvine.com. You might be Frank's Glass Repair Los Angeles.com. You can use keywords. You can use your target area. Nothing wrong with doing a Irvine Glass Repair or something like that as your .com. In different cities other than California, some of them are graced with having .bostons, .vegases, etc. Doesn't quite make sense for us out here to do something like that. If you have a domain that you have a hyphen in or a number in, not a bad thing to have it. Just if you can, try and buy the version that also has it spelled out, so that you're not, again, directing people to other sites for the traffic that you're earning. Last couple things here: be memorable. There's millions of registered domains, so choosing a domain that's catchy and memorable can be essential. Once you've come up with a name, share it with your close friends and family to make sure it sounds appealing. do some research when you pick a domain, make sure it's not trademarked, copyrighted. You can go to the USTPO to take a look for that, do a simple trademark search, make sure no one else is using it. And then the last piece, and this is kind of critical for you because you can find more options by looking at different domain extensions. So, .com, .net, all of those things, they do have specific uses, and you don't want to get one that doesn't make sense for you. So, for example, the .com obviously is commercial use and, businesses. .co is another extension that can be used for the same thing, company, commerce, also for communities. If you're an informational site, .info makes sense. If you're a tech company, you can do a .net. If you're a nonprofit or an organization of that type of nature, .orgs are available. .biz works for e-commerce sites and small businesses. .me is a good place if you're doing like a personal resume or .blog. But do some research on who you are before using one of those. And yes, you could use a .us if you're a US company. Just you make sure that you're a US company, you can qualify for that, which I'm sure all of you can. There is some additional paperwork when you're registering a domain. When we're talking about that, one of the things that is important to note in registering a domain, you can do this from any number of places. And up on the screen, you're going to see there's listings for GoDaddy, Wix, Shopify, Square, Squarespace, Bluehost, Domain, Sea-Doo. And all of them are going to give you pricing again between that, $10 and all the way up for different things you're looking for. One of the things we're going to be talking about today, though, is getting yourself online, getting up and running quickly. And one of the ways to do that is, instead of trying to build it yourself, is to utilize a web hosting platform, which is why we're including things like Shopify, Square, and Squarespace, and you can purchase your domains through them. When you're thinking about this, before you just dive in and purchase a domain, which one of the reasons we're going to run through the program the way we are, is so you can get an idea of where you'd want to purchase it through and what's going to make getting things set up a little bit easier. And talking about that, obviously you can go to GoDaddy. You can look for a glass repair domain. I want to see if glassrepair.com is available, which I'm pretty sure it's taken. And yep, it's taken. So it's given us some options here. We've got glassrepair.net, glassrepair.site, glassrepair.live. This one's a premium. You can see you could get that one for $3,000. And then as you go down, it's going to start giving you a whole bunch of other extensions, which don't necessarily fit for someone who's a glass repair company. And guys, I have no idea why I picked glass repair as a company today, but apparently I need new windows, so I'm sticking with it. Looking in there, that might not be what we want. So say we're in Irvine, we maybe want to do Irvine glass repair. And all of a sudden, we've got that available, and we've got a URL that tells where we're at, what we do, and we can put that on things for people to find us. Likewise, you could come over to Shopify and do the same thing. It will give you a couple different things. Now, it has probably help if I spell repair correctly. It has a search tool that'll help generate some domains for you if you put in a few keywords. It's a nice one to look at. And again, I'll drop both these links in the chat so that you guys have them to search for, which we don't have a chat. So we'll send that to you at a different time. Apologies. Once you get your domain.
Chris, before, since you're talking about the domain name, so we do have a question from Farah. She says, do you have to search them all before you choose one? What would be your approach?
Do I have to search them all before I choose one? My first approach is to think about my business, okay? And I've had businesses previously where we've brought in a product because we knew we had a really good feeling it was going to sell, and we didn't have a name for it. So for example, we brought in an electric toothbrush because we had had success selling teeth whitening kits. And we were going to start a company, and trying to find a brand name for a toothbrush is a little bit different. So when you think about that, start thinking about the features, the benefits, what it does for your customers. And for us, our goal was to give everybody through our brands a dazzling smile. and do that in a professional way. And we used those two words and kind of created a combo word that made the domain for us. Now, in thinking where we could find that, our thought is we want to be a .com because that's where people will initially reference any website they hear. Did we buy the .nets and the .biz and all those things? Yes, but when we went out, our main objective was to be on the .com. So unless you're doing something specifically that the .com is not right for you, I would encourage you to look on the .com first, and then if you're operating as an e-commerce store, I would then probably look at .co or then .biz. But when you're thinking of a name, do it so that you can think of how people are going to find you, something that evokes an emotional reaction or a connection, and lets people know what you're really going to deliver for them. That kind of clarify it?
So yeah, and I think the question was more specific. Do I need to go on GoDaddy.com, Bluehost.com?
Oh, no, just pick one. Just pick one. Sorry, I went into a little bit more.
No, it's okay. It's okay. They clarified after you started with the answer. So I think we got the answer, the answer to that question. And we do have a question from Krista. She's asking, could you talk about how to transfer your website from one platform such as Weebly to another such as Shopify? So we're going to touch on these platforms in the next few slides, and we'll try to address that as well.
Nope, for sure. And speaking of, our next section is, once you've got that domain, it's selecting that right e-commerce platform for you. And
that concludes part number 1 of this series. Please visit part number 2 to see how to build your website or update your existing site even more.